At the beginning of the story, we see Rodto returning with the flying boat. He is accompanied by the 2 castle bodyguards, who are in very bad shape. On the other hand, Nami is extremely disappointed and upset because she did not find any diamonds, gold, or precious jewelry in the castle. Hearing Nami's constant complaints, the bodyguards get annoyed, but Rodto advises them to rest. Rodto politely requests Nami not to talk about Loki. Her anger does not calm down because she is returning empty-handed. The scene then shifts, and we arrive at the Atom Tree. Here, Frankie is shown, completely amazed by the sheer scale of this massive tree. Ripley saves Frankie from falling and advises him to move forward carefully. Ripley explains that the tree is so huge that they have all been living on its branches, and it holds its own deep historical significance. Ripley points out a massive branch, leaving Frankie surprised. Ripley informs him that there used to be a village here named Hogan. One day, a fierce lightning strike hit the village, and it started burning. Since older branches catch fire easily, they had to cut off that section of the branch to stop the fire from spreading to the rest of the tree. Hearing this, Frankie realizes how painful it must have been to cut off a branch along with an entire village. Ripley further reveals that the biggest weaknesses of this Atom Tree are fire and lightning. The scene shifts back to the village, where there is a festive atmosphere and everyone is enjoying themselves. Nami arrives and meets Usopp, who is heavily intoxicated. Usopp mentions that he cannot find Zoro and Luffy. Usopp introduces Nami to Jarl, calling her an excellent navigator. Jarl compliments Nami's beauty, but Usopp warns her that Jarl has a habit of flirting, so she shouldn't mind his words. Dory and Brogy get angry, but Jarl is in a playful mood. In his drunken state, Usopp jokingly hits Jarl on the head, leading to a slight argument. Usopp boastfully challenges that he can pull out the sword stuck in Jarl's head. On the other side, Brook is engrossed in his music, playing a song. Sanji breathes a sigh of relief, happy to confirm that Nami is safe. In the next sequence, the guards and Rodto are shown together. The injured castle guards have had their wounds bandaged. One female guard asks Rodto who attacked the castle. A nervous Rodto lies, claiming he doesn't know anything. He states that when he arrived, the gate was already broken, and the guards were lying injured. Seeing Rodto sweating and nervous, the guard gets suspicious, but Rodto stops her from investigating further. He says he will personally ask the guards the truth when they wake up, so that the current festive mood isn't ruined. Rodto thinks to himself that he hasn't told anyone about Luffy and Zoro because his real goal is to see Loki freed and leave the island. The story then moves to the underworld. Luffy and Zoro are standing in front of Loki, with Luffy holding the key. Zoro notices that the scenery is completely different from what Luffy had described earlier, and there are dead animals lying around. Loki is badly injured. Seeing that Loki is still breathing, Luffy steps forward to help him. Zoro stops Luffy from rushing in, pointing out that Loki is bound by Sea Prism stone handcuffs. Zoro is highly cautious about Loki's immense power and dangerous intentions, warning Luffy that freeing him could put all of Elbaf in grave danger. Zoro steps forward to check Loki's condition and confirms that his injuries and blood are real, meaning he isn't faking it. Despite the risks, Zoro decides they will unlock Loki, but for safety reasons, they will leave the Sea Prism stone shackle on one of his legs so they can interrogate him safely once he wakes up. Seeing Loki's critical condition, Luffy wants to bring Chopper, their doctor, but Zoro refuses because the village is too far away. Luffy decides to head out to find food and a doctor for Loki anyway. Just then, a flying boat is seen rapidly approaching from the sky, carrying Hadruden's team. The boat is falling so fast that it seems certain to crash. Meanwhile, it is revealed that Sanji is hiding inside Hadruden's cape, promising to keep the female guard safe. Seeing the boat falling dangerously fast, Luffy uses his powers to turn himself into a giant balloon to cushion the impact. Luffy's body becomes so bouncy that the guard and Sanji fall to the ground, but Hadruden and his boat bounce back high into the air. Despite a rough landing, they all reach the ground safely. Finally, Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro are reunited in one place. Hadruden's timely arrival is crucial. He immediately warns Luffy and the others not to free Loki under any circumstances. Hadruden's team had already interrogated Rodto and uncovered the whole truth. Hadruden explains to Luffy that Loki cannot be trusted at all. He is highly cunning, brutal, and harbors evil intentions. While Hadruden is giving his warning, Zoro draws his attention to Luffy, who is trying hard to hold back his laughter. Zoro calmly informs Hadruden that he is too late, as Loki's chains have already been unlocked. Finally, Loki stands up on his feet, completely free. His size is far more massive than even the giant warriors of Elbaf. Luffy thought Loki was unconscious, but he is fully awake and aware. Loki stands in a fully aggressive stance with his massive weapon in hand. Except for Zoro, everyone present is visibly terrified by Loki's overwhelming and fearsome aura.